Good evening, everybody. Welcome back to yet another one of these. It's been a while since I've actually had a proper sit down and do one of these videos that involved editing and stuff. But something didn't happen. I joined a Facebook group. I won't tell you the name because apparently they've had a massive influx of members recently, and I think the admins are struggling to keep up. I find myself quite active on the channel. It is for flat earthers, but it's not, and it's very cleverly worded. There's a recent admin that took over most of the main duties, and he changed the title. Basically, it includes the words flat earth, but it also uses the words global discussion. And a lot of flat earthers aren't getting the joke. They're not getting the irony, and they're thinking it's a place where they can come in and be among like-minded buffoons. When in fact they actually find themselves getting royally ripped apart in everything they say and do, and it's a lot of the same really. It's basically posting memes, posting links to videos, of people like Eric Debay and David Weiss, and not mutual friends. So far I haven't seen one of his videos, but I can't wait. But yeah, it's quite interesting to see the vast majority of the posts are people ripping on flurfers, and the flurfers themselves are getting quite upset about it and trying to defend themselves. The same old talking points, same as usual. But somebody did actually post a video, and it's from a guy called Mr. MBB333. For some reason, he's got 167,000 followers on YouTube, and he's a UFO believer, that kind of thing. His write up on his blog, I'll put it up here. I'll get a screen grab of it. He says he's a watchman or something like that. He's a self-appointed person who's taken it upon themselves to show everybody the ultimate truth, that kind of thing. But he did actually post a video not long ago where but is a lot of the people like this. Leo does this. I've been sent this footage by somebody. Now this guy's got enough followers to actually make that an actual credible claim. But obviously the people who sent him the footage said, "There you go, look at this." He's looked at it and said, "Oh yeah, this is exactly what I think I would expect to see. So I'm going to comment on it." But he really hasn't done his research. Now I often say that, and the first people to say, "Do your research," are flat earthers, moon landing deniers, space deniers, all these people. But this one's actually hilarious, and you'll see why if you're eagle-eyed enough. See if you can spot it before I point it out. It's not a long video. His video is about 5.5 to 6 minutes long, but as per usual I'll probably be rambling on, and so I will interject, point things out where obviously he's missed them, and we'll see how long this takes us to get through it. So here we go. This is Mr. MBB333. I really hope the MBB isn't anything to do with Millie Bobby Brown, because that'd be really weird. But here we go. Let's see what he's got to say for himself.
As you guys know, we've been following the ISS live feed, and every once in a while we'll get these lines that people send in, and we take a look at the video footage and the lines that seem to be showing up in the atmosphere above the Earth, spanning for what appear to be hundreds, if not thousands of miles above the Atlantic Ocean, the Pacific Ocean. This was observed from out above the Arabian Sea. This video footage was sent in by Jennifer Ramos from just a few days ago.
Right, I'm going to stop it there and see if you can spot it. Here's the screen grab. Give you a few seconds. Okay, everybody up to speed? Let's carry on.
Now we're looking at that line that appears to be above India, but if you look real close, it doesn't line up perfect. And as you're going to see in some other photos that were sent in, still images, a lot of these lines where they meet don't line up perfectly. And here's a prime example. Looking at the line right here, stopping in this location, there's a pocket of blue on the left, and abruptly it turns white. In a real sky, that would be impossible. That doesn't happen.
Let's give the man some credit. In a real sky, that doesn't happen. But we're not looking at the real sky, are we?
So I'm going to show you guys some more examples of what appear to be lines spanning across the Earth. Look right here. Here's a couple of the lines that show up in these ISS live feeds, and they've been showing up for several months. I don't recall seeing these years back. This is something that at least it's new to me. I've had people share these recently within the last, I would say, 12 months. I've had several viewers send in photos and videos. Here's another example.
I think I'll do the big reveal here because it goes without saying that he absolutely is not watching a live feed from the International Space Station. Well, he is. Sort of. Let me explain. The footage he's actually watching is from a YouTube channel called Afar TV, who have kind of jumped on the live streaming everything bandwagon. They've got hundreds, well not hundreds, they've got loads of live streams from all over the planet. Funnily enough, they also claim copyright over everything on their channel, even though they're actually taking 2 live feeds from NASA. But anyway, the big giveaway is that the footage from Afar has that strip along the bottom which shows you there's a couple of little screens. It's the second feed from the other camera. The main one's looking down, this one's looking ahead. But there's also a map of where the International Space Station is on its little orbit. And there's also something else there. And what makes this feed quite helpful is when the feed from the ISS cameras is suspended for any reason. On the NASA channels, you get a card that just says this feed has been temporarily suspended for whatever reason. They're using the camera for something else. I mean, it's NASA's cameras, they're more than welcome to use it themselves, I suppose. But the feed from Afar TV, however, cuts to a 3D model of the Earth, which is patently obvious to anybody who knows how to use eyes. But also, and more importantly, there's a little button right in the middle of the screen down the bottom that switches from a red live logo to a blue offline one. Have a guess what colour the little box is where Mr. Millie Bobby Brown is telling everybody that the footage from the space station is fake.
Of the abrupt change. See the white, how it abruptly stops, and then you have blue, what appears to be ocean. That doesn't necessarily happen in a real sky where there's real wind and real clouds colliding with warm air and cold air. That would be kind of difficult to do, stop like that abruptly in the jet stream or something like that. That just simply couldn't happen.
Again, he's not wrong, but he's spending so much time looking at the clouds, he's not noticing the little blue thing at the bottom of the screen that's humiliating him every single time he talks.
Was sent in by Daniel Kane of something showing up in the sky off in the distance. I don't believe this is Jupiter or Venus because right now the position of Jupiter and Venus is in front of the sun and behind the sun. Traveling across the sky, Jupiter is behind the sun, Venus is in front of the sun. Not sure what those were.
No one could tell what they are. You've shown about 3 seconds of clearly sped up footage, gone back in there and back and forward, zoomed in on it, without telling us when the footage was taken, what direction the cameras were pointing in. It could have been anywhere on the planet. You haven't given us any information, and all we have to take is your word for it over 3 seconds of footage that isn't even yours.
Like this video footage here you're looking at from the ISS live cam.
Was that filmed using a potato?
What appears to be a version of one of the Starlink satellite trains. But as you guys well know that have seen these things, don't they look big? Look how big those things look.
Okay, that is the worst footage ever to be presented as proof of anything. And I've played Ground Zero Texas on the Mega CD. Even if it is a train of Starlink satellites, all we have to go on there is your opinion, which so far isn't actually looking that reliable. The fact that the supposed Earth below has been digitally zoomed in on so much looks like a lump of mashed potato. But given how genuinely god-awful that footage is, it could genuinely be anything, including digital video artifacts.
I mean, I suppose that's the most logical explanation for what we're looking at here.
It really isn't.
I don't know how else to describe them. It looks exactly like a Starlink satellite train. Starlink satellites don't normally look this big, at least from the ground, but
we're not on the ground. We're in space.
I'm beginning to wonder what's really going on up here to begin with, and I'm going to show you guys why. And it was actually kind of disappointing. I wonder if they're trying to hide something. It's just kind of weird. Again, we've been looking at these mysterious lines in the ISS live feed for several months. And I'll tell you what I think we're looking at here. This looks like a classic stitched together map. I was over here at zoom.earth, and this is a flat view of the entire Earth, right? Well,
Zoom.earth. Okay, haven't heard of that one. Let's take a look. So, Zoom.earth, you say? Let's have a look. No, I don't want to follow you on Instagram. Okay, looks fine to me. Satellite live. Looks okay. Let's have a zoom in. Okay, yeah, that's all good. Yeah, lots of lovely clouds, cumulonimbus and whatnot. Looks alright to me. It's a bit patchy here and there, but obviously it's feeding up and what have you. This is just weather patterns. Interesting. Okay. Weather map, you say? Fascinating stuff. Okay, so what's wrong with this then?
you can't take a photo of the entire Earth, so you have to take segments of the Earth and stitch them together. And whenever this technique is used, and anytime you're making a map of the entire Earth, it's going to have this type of digital stitching. And here's another example like we just saw from the International Space Station. How the blue starts and the white abruptly begins. That wouldn't happen in a real atmosphere. That would be impossible.
Again, his ability to state the obvious is astounding for someone who clearly knows so little. I did wonder why the map he was showing looked so different from the one I saw originally. And the difference is that he's choosing the HD map and I'm choosing the live map. Now, there is a difference. Now, the way I'm guessing it's stitched together, which is fairly obvious, is one of the footage, the live footage, is about an hour old. And what's happening is a satellite is going slowly around the Earth, taking real-time photos of weather and the Earth and what have you. And it's giving the website itself time to combine those pictures together seamlessly so they all stitch together and it looks very nice. It's like a clone stamping in Photoshop. But the one he's chosen to look at is the HD feed. Now, as he pans out, you can clearly see, it strips of data. As the satellite's passed over, it's taken this high altitude image and it's come out as a strip down the planet, or down the planet that way, look from your perspective. And obviously this is more recent, it's more current, and as they get to the top, obviously as the satellite is tracking over the planet, in certain areas the images can get stuck together or be immediately side by side, and obviously there's a join because there's a time period that has passed from one pass to the other. Obviously, with the live version, as I said, the footage of the website has had time to compile them together so they look better. But he's deliberately chosen this one because there are so much incongruity between the two takes as they go side by side. This is deliberate, and he knows it. The interesting thing to point out, though, is when you switch from one view to the other, a little box pops up on screen that tells you exactly what you're looking at. I'm guessing he just forgot to tell you that.
So this is over at zoom.earth. This is today, and you can see the map is clearly stitched together. And look at the familiar lines. Don't they look similar to what we're seeing up here from the International Space Station? Look, they're identical.
Yes, it's pretty close, but as I said earlier, this isn't live footage from the ISS. In fact, Afar TV on their YouTube page for this channel tells you when the data's gone, they switch to something else, just for people to have something else to look at. And the screen tells you you're not looking at a live feed. What you're looking at is a digitally composited 3D globe stitched together from images remarkably similar to the ones you're pointing out at earth.zoom. I'd go as far as to say that may actually be the source of the images that they've used, because they're pretty bloody close.
So that brings up the question, what are they doing up there? Are they trying to hide something? This is clearly a fake, guys. If this is indeed out over the Atlantic Ocean, that's a stitched together map, just like you see right here on zoom.earth. In fact, this is supposedly the North Pacific Ocean. Let's just go to the North Pacific Ocean and I'll show you the same stitching. We're down here in the South Atlantic, going across South America, going out into the Pacific Ocean. It's dark. We're going to have to go to, there we go, daylight. Here's the North Pacific Ocean. And here's the familiar line. There's not only one, but there's two. Another one over here.
Did you not see the massive gaps in the map you just scrolled past to get to this northern point in the North Pacific Ocean. Those big gaps are there for a reason. I mean, they told you how they put the images together on the bloody website.
Out in the North Pacific Ocean, going back to the International Space Station, here's the North Pacific Ocean right here, and there's the familiar line. See it? This is a map. This is a fake. So there you have it, the mystery solved. We've been looking at these lines for several months out here, supposedly in the atmosphere above the Earth, and all along it's been a stitched together map, just like you see over here at zoom.earth.
Like I said, looks fine to me.
And you can find other examples like over here at Null School. There's an example of how you would take apart the Earth whenever you're looking at different areas of the Earth, different hemispheres and different quadrants of the Earth. And then when you put it back together, it makes a flat map.
And when you press this button, it's a globe. Funny that.
But there's always that stitching, even as good as Google Earth is, and Google Earth is excellent. You can still see the lines down here because they're putting together a map of the entire Earth. So they have to have stitching and overlay somewhere, especially at the bottom and the top. Let's just go look. I haven't even, yep, there you go. There's your line at the top of the Earth.
You know, for someone who's trying to debunk the ISS, he's doing a pretty bloody good job of debunking himself. Yes, has often been said before, and the flurfers keep thinking it's some kind of gotcha when that guy said it's Photoshop because it has to be. Yes, there isn't a camera far enough away from the Earth that can take it all in one go, so it has to be digitally composited. This is not a hidden fact. They tell you they do this on the Google Earth About page. At least I hope they do. Let's have a look and see if they do. Remember, Google Earth and Google Maps isn't a live feed of the planet. It's thousands upon thousands of images digitally stitched together, going back decades. Google Earth has a history button that, in my particular area, can show you what my school and what my area looked like just after World War II, because we were in the bloody firing line of the Luftwaffe. It's a web-based 3D composite image of a globe for historical, educational and entertainment purposes.
So whatever's going on up here, this is not a live cam. This is fake. This is a stitched together map of the Earth. Whatever they're flying over is not the Earth.
And there we have it. I think that is proof positive that flurfers will desperately cling on to absolutely anything and look at it immediately at face value. As I've said many times before, with all the people I've spoken about, I want to mention, you know who I'm talking about. And they won't do the tiniest amount of research to verify their sources before they comment on it and present it as fact. Now, what makes this one more ridiculous, as I pointed out before, it was right there. He was looking at a screen. He was looking at video footage that was telling him what it was. He just, well, there's two ways. He either didn't notice or he's lying. How deep down your own rabbit hole must you be to, one, not only check your sources for their veracity, or two, to completely ignore all the evidence you need when it's literally staring you in the face? And there we go. That'll do it for that one. It really just, what beggars more belief for me than anything else, I don't even know if that's a real phrase, is how many followers this man had. It was like 167,000 subscribers. Not that I ever want that number. It would complicate things for me greatly. But again, you have to wonder how many people were watching him just for the entertainment value. Like other people I could mention, they're not all there to support you. They're there just to goad you on to see what you're going to do or say next. But this one, the very fact it was right there just blew my mind, and he just couldn't see it. Because, again, blinkers. He wasn't looking for anything that contradicted his worldview. And even if he had noticed it, I think he was too far gone to admit that he was wrong. And every time he spoke, every time he said anything about this footage being live ISS footage, the truth was there in blue and white to tell you he was either wrong or lying. Toss a coin to decide which one it was. Okay, thanks very much for watching. Like and subscribe. Like I said, this is the first time I've sat down and done a proper go at one of these. Luckily, that Facebook group I found the other week is a goldmine It's better than Odyssey because there's so many people on there who are trying to prove a point, but they're in the wrong crowd and they don't actually realise they are, which is proper gold for someone like me and us, you know. So, yeah, that'll do. Thanks very much for watching. I was going to a little bit of thing sidebar. I was gonna do something with the boys this weekend just past. We went down to the Battle of Britain Memorial, Cape La Fern, which is near Folkestone. I've spoken about Folkestone before. On a clear day, you can see right across the channel to France, and I've spoken about that particular viewpoint before. Unfortunately, it was a little bit too misty. It was really nice, hot, sunny day. I think I've got a touch of the sun. But unfortunately, it was not clear enough to see all the way across the channel, so I couldn't do what I wanted to do. But I still had a bloody lovely day with the boys. Folkestone Harbour Arm. If you haven't heard of it, if you're ever down in Kent, pop down there on a nice day. It's a really good place, actually. A big regeneration thing went on there a few years ago, so big up Folkestone Council. Okay, that'll do for the tourist board. I shall see you next time I see you. Thank you very much for watching, and goodbye.